I'm James Harlan, 32 years old, board-certified OBGYN at Mount Sinai in the heart of Manhattan, where the city's pulse never slows, not even at 2 a.m. on a rain-lashed Tuesday in October. My life was a rhythm of charts, consults, and quiet nights tangled in sheets with Benjamin, my anchor in this chaos. Ben, Dr. Benjamin Reyes to the whiteboards and clipboards, was a pediatric surgeon, sharp as a scalpel, with eyes like polished obsidian that could disarm a trauma patient or unravel me with a single glance. We'd been together 4 years, since a hospital mixer where he called my bluff on a bad bluff in poker and ended up kissing me in the supply closet. It was the kind of reckless New York love story that felt invincible, built on stolen coffees in the cafeteria and promises whispered over takeout lo mein in our cramped Brooklyn walk-up. But that night, as the ambulance sirens wailed through the storm, everything fractured. The paramedics burst through the double doors, soaked and frantic, wheeling in Lily Carmichael, a wisp of a girl with matted blonde hair and eyes too old for her 9 years. "Pediatric OB stat," one yelled, and I was there, barking orders before my brain caught up. She was 9. The words echoed like a bad diagnosis, but the belly, distended, veined, contracting, told a different story. Child Protective Services had been called en route. Her mother, a strung-out waitress from Queens, had dumped her at the ER doors with a slurred, "She says the devil's inside her," before vanishing into the night. Ben was on call too, scrubbing in from PEDS when the page hit. He appeared at my side like he always did, his presence a steady hum against the frenzy. "James," he murmured, voice low under the beeps and shouts, his hand brushing mine in that fleeting way we did, professional on the surface, electric underneath. "What the hell is this?" I didn't answer, couldn't. The ultrasound gel chilled my palms as I pressed the probe to her skin, the room narrowing to that black and white glow. There it was, a heartbeat, erratic but real. A tiny form curled in the impossible space of her prepubescent frame. 20 weeks, maybe 22. The math didn't add up, and neither did the implications. Rape, abuse, a monster who'd stolen her childhood in the shadows of some rundown apartment. My stomach churned, bile rising as I flagged the tech for a full scan. "Get me tox screens, full blood work, and page Dr. Ellis for consult." I snapped to the nurse. Ellis was the head of ethics, a grizzled vet who'd seen it all, or so he claimed. Lily whimpered, her small hand clutching the rail, for lines snaking like vines up her arm. "It hurts, mister. The bad man said it'd go away if I prayed." Her words were a gut punch, innocent and damning. I knelt beside her, forcing a smile that felt like glass.
"I'm Dr. James.
"We're gonna take care of you, okay? What's your favorite color?" Stupid question, but it was all I had, diversion tactics from med school psych rotations. "Blue," she whispered, eyes fluttering as the morphine kicked in. "Like the sky before it rains." Ben hovered at the foot of the bed, his jaw set in that quiet fury I knew too well. He'd grown up in the Bronx, foster kid turned fighter, channeling it all into saving the ones the system chewed up. "CPS is en route," he said, glancing at his phone. "Mother's got priors, drugs, neglect. This is bad, James. Real bad." I nodded, my mind racing through protocols. Preserve evidence, notify authorities, brace for the media circus. A pregnant 9-year-old? It was tabloid catnip, the kind of story that ignited Twitter storms and 60-minute segments. By dawn, the ER had transformed into a war room. Police swarmed the halls, flashbulbs popping outside like distant gunfire despite security's best efforts. Lily stabilized in a private room, sedated and monitored, her vitals a fragile thread. Ben and I stole a moment in the break room, shoulders brushing over lukewarm coffee. "You okay?" he asked, his thumb tracing my knuckles under the table. A risk in this place, where whispers about the gay docs still lingered like outdated charts. "Yeah." I lied, the lie tasting bitter. "Just, how does this happen? In 2025, in America?" He squeezed my hand, his touch grounding me. "Because monsters wear normal faces. But we're not letting this one win." His optimism was my favorite thing about him, the way he believed in justice like it was a tangible force, not the slippery ideal I'd learned to distrust after too many lost cases. The first crack came that afternoon. Dr. Ellis pulled me into his office, a windowless cave stacked with policy binders. He was a relic, mid-60s, with a mustache that screamed 1980s cop show and a homophobia so subtle it slid under HR radars. "Harlan," he drawled, not offering a seat. "This Carmichael kid is a powder keg. Board wants it hushed. Transfer to pediatrics at Sloan Kettering. No press, no leaks." I blinked, heat rising. "Hushed? She's a victim, Ellis. We have to report, investigate." He waved me off. "And drag the hospital's name through the mud? We've got donors to court, James. Play ball or your tenure review next year gets interesting." The threat hung there, casual as a weather report. I stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frames. Ben was waiting in the hall, reading my face like an EKG. "What did the old bastard say?" I recounted it, voice low, fury coiling tight. Ben's eyes darkened. "Screw that. I'm calling my contact at the DA's office. This girl deserves daylight." We holed up in my office after shift, plotting like insurgents. Anonymous tips to reporters, evidence logs duplicated off books. It felt righteous, us against the machine, our bond sharpening in the fire. That night, back in Brooklyn, we collapsed onto the couch, rain pattering the fire escape. Ben pulled me close, his lips brushing my temple. "We're doing this together," he said. "Always. But always has a way of bending." The next week blurred into a grind. Daily rounds with Lily, who warmed to us like a stray cat, drawing blue skies on napkins, asking if Ben could fix her tummy monster. Tests confirmed the pregnancy. Viable, female fetus, due in 8 weeks. Paternity kit pending, but suspicions pointed to her stepfather, a mechanic with a rap sheet longer than my shift schedule. The mother resurfaced, tear-streaked in interrogation, claiming ignorance. "I thought she was just gaining weight," she sobbed. Lies, all of it, but the pity in her eyes gnawed at me. Ben threw himself into it, volunteering for her psych evals, his social worker chops shining. "She's tough," he told me one evening, sprawled on our bed with case files. "Reminds me of me at that age, hiding the bruises." I traced the faded scar on his ribcage, a souvenir from foster care. "You're nothing like this. You're you." He smiled, that lopsided grin that melted me, and pulled me down for a kiss that tasted like home. Slow, deep, a reminder that love could be soft amid the storm. Then the betrayal hit, swift as a code blue. It started with a leaked photo. Lily's ultrasound, grainy but unmistakable, splashed across the Post's website by noon. Miracle or monster?
Ni KIDS impossible prégnancy.
Comments exploded, vile sludge about sin, welfare queens, the end times. My phone blew up. Bored furious? Police demanding sources. Ben and I were hauled into HR, Ellis presiding like a kangaroo court judge. "Who talked?" he barked, eyes sliding to Ben. "We know it wasn't protocol."
Ben struytend, umflintsing.
"It wasn't us. But if you're fishing for scapegoats, look closer." The room crackled, Ellis's mustache twitching. I saw it then, the flicker of something ugly, personal. Later, piecing it from whispers, we learned the leak traced to Ellis's assistant, a sycophant he'd pressured. But why? To bury the story deeper, or something pettier? Ben confronted him in the parking garage, me trailing like a shadow. "You outed us in that meeting," Ben accused, voice steel. "The gay docs line? Sloppy, Ellis." The old man sneered, rain slicking his coat. "This place has standards, Reyes. And distractions like you two, they cost lives." It was a slap, homophobic venom disguised as concern. Ben's fists clenched, but I pulled him back, heart hammering. "Not worth it," I whispered as we drove home, wipers slashing the downpour. But it was. The leak ignited the circus. Protesters outside with signs, "Save the baby, not the sin." Reporters camping our stoop. Lily's room went lockdown, her drawings piling up like unanswered prayers. Through it all, our love held fierce, unspoken vows in the quiet hours. Ben cooked bad paella one night, laughing as rice burned, and we danced in the kitchen to old Springsteen, his head on my shoulder. "Remember why we fight," he said. "For her, for us, for the America that was supposed to protect the lilies of the world." But the real storm brewed inside her, unseen. As weeks ticked down, Lily's contraction started. False alarms at first, then real, her tiny frame rebelling. We prepped for C-section, Ben assisting on PEDS, me leading the oar. The board hovered, Ellis's shadow long. No surprises, Harlan, he warned. If only. Labor hit like a freight train on a foggy November morning, the kind where Manhattan wakes grumpy and gray. Lily's water broke at 4:17 a.m., flooding the monitors with alarms that yanked me from a fitful sleep in the on-call room. Ben was already there, paging me as I stumbled into scrubs, coffee breath and dread knotting my chest. She's at 6 centimeters, he said, voice clipped over the line. Pediatric teams rolling in. This is it, James. The oar was a hive, gowns rustling, instruments clinking like distant thunder. Lily lay on the table, pale as the sheets, her blue sky eyes wide with terror. Dr. James?
Dear Ben.
Promise it won't hurt forever. I leaned in, forehead to hers, the scent of antiseptic sharp. Promise, we're right here. Think blue skies, kiddo. Ben flanked her other side, his hand, gloved, professional, squeezing hers. Our eyes met over her head, a silent pact. Get her through, no matter what. Incision was textbook, my scalpel parting layers with practiced grace. But as I reached in, the room tilted. Suction, I muttered, the assistant complying quick. Blood welled, warm and sticky. But beneath, something off. The fetus was small, distress signals spiking on the fetal monitor, heart rate dipping into the 60s. Ben, get ready? I called, voice steady despite the ice in my veins. He nodded, positioned at the warmer, his face a mask of focus. Then it came, the extraction, a slippery rush into the basin. Not a cry, but a gasp from the team. I stared, world narrowing to that wriggling form. Tiny limbs, yes, but the head. Elongated, the torso fused in a way that defied anatomy. Conjoined? No, worse. What the anesthesiologist breathed. Ben scooped it up, clearing airways, but his eyes locked on mine. Shock, raw and mirroring. Ultrasound lied, I said, tying off vessels as sutures flew. It wasn't a lie exactly. The scan had shown a single viable pregnancy. But this was a parasitic twin, a rare vanishing twin syndrome gone grotesque, where one fetus absorbed the other in utero, leaving a partially formed mass mistaken for a normal baby. Lily's body, ravaged by the assault that sparked this pregnancy, had hidden the truth. The baby wasn't viable, wasn't even fully human in the cruelest sense. A vestige, a shadow sibling malformed by trauma and time. The room exploded into controlled chaos. Path to labs, stat. I barked, as Ben stabilized Lily, her vitals crashing from blood loss. Ellis burst in then, face purple. Harlan, what the hell is this? The press is outside. Save it, Ben snarled, wheeling Lily toward recovery. Your leak started this fire. We're putting it out. Ellis sputtered, but I ignored him, stripping off bloody gloves in the scrub sink, water scalding my skin. The discovery hit the wires by noon. Shocking twist in child pregnancy horror. Doctors unearth hidden twin. Not the full truth, but enough to shift the narrative from scandal to medical miracle gone wrong. Reporters swarmed, but we stonewalled, focusing on Lily. Post-op. She woke groggy in PICU, tubes and beeps her new lullaby. Did the monster come out? She asked, voice small. Ben sat beside her, spinning a tale of brave knights and defeated dragons, his Bronx accent thickening for comfort. I watched from the doorway, chest tight, love for him swelling amid the exhaustion. He'd been my rock, but cracks showed. Late nights poring over journals, snapping when I suggested rest. This isn't just a case, James, he'd said last week. It's personal. He wasn't wrong. The parasitic twin explained the pregnancy. The stepfather's abuse had been brutal but not impregnating. The swell was the absorbed sibling, triggered early by stress. Paternity? Irrelevant now. But the emotional toll. Lily's drawings turned dark, skies storming with crayon lightning. CPS placed her in temp foster, a kind aunt from Jersey stepping up. Ben advocated hard, his lawyer friend pulling strings for permanency. Our betrayal deepened that night. I found the email on the shared drive. Anonymous, but Ellis's fingerprints all over. A chain from board members, discussing reassigning Ben to a satellite clinic, citing distractions in high-profile cases. Distractions. Code for us. I confronted Ben over dinner. Cold tie from the corner spot. Rain drumming the awning outside. They're pushing you out because of me. Because of us. He set down his fork, eyes weary. It's not you. It's them. Their fear of anything that doesn't fit their straight arrow world. But doubt crept in. A whisper I'd ignored too long. Ben had been distant, fielding calls from his ex. Some straight-laced accountant from med school days. Just friends, he swore. And the leak? Whispers pointed to Ben's phone pings with a reporter buddy. Paranoia? Maybe. But trust, once chipped, frays fast. The climax built over days, a pressure cooker of depositions and psych holds. Lily stabilized, the mass analyzed. No malignancy, just a tragic anomaly, her body healing with time. But the media frenzy peaked, pundits on CNN decrying broken families, ignoring the real villain. The stepfather, indicted on multiples but lawyered up by Ellis's golfing pal. Conflicts of interest? Ben fumed one evening, pacing our living room, city lights flickering through blinds. Ellis is pulling strings to bury the charges. I grabbed his arm, pulling him close. Then we fight dirtier. Our kiss was desperate, hands fisting shirts, bodies colliding in a crash of need. Not lust, but affirmation, a reclaiming. He tasted like salt and fury, his breath hitching as we tumbled to the rug, the world outside fading. I love you, he gasped against my neck, words a lifeline. This, us. It's worth everything. In that moment, tangled and breathless, I believed him, believed us. But dawn brought the knife. I woke to Ben's side empty, coffee cold on the counter. His note. Had to handle something. Back soon. Love, B. Hours ticked by, no calls, no texts. Panic clawed as I scrubbed in for rounds. Phone buzzing with a news alert. Child abuse scandal. Insider leaks prove hospital cover-up. Attached. Affidavits. Timestamps matching Ben's friend's byline. Betrayal cold and calculated. He'd gone rogue, feeding the story to blow it open. But at what cost? Our careers, our safety, Lily's fragile peace. I found him in the hospital chapel, empty at midday, stained glass casting bloody patterns on the pews. You sold us out. I whispered, voice breaking. He looked up, hollowed. I sold the truth, James. Ellis was tanking the case, payoffs, sealed records. This was the only way. The only way? Fury boiled over, echoing off stone. You didn't trust me. You played hero alone, like always. He stood, reaching, but I flinched. It's not like that. I was protecting. You. The word hung, ugly. Or your damn savior complex? He recoiled, pain flashing, real, raw. We'd danced this before. His walls from a childhood of abandonments, my fear of being left behind. But this gutted us. I can't do this now, I choked, bolting before tears fell. Dior waited, Lily's follow-up looming. But as I gowned up, Ellis cornered me. Smug, triumphant. Your boy's done, Harlan. Diaz got him for unauthorized disclosures. Might even drag you down. I shoved past, scalpels trembling in my grip. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Ben's recklessness, Ellis's malice. And Lily innocent in the crossfire. That afternoon, her aunt arrived, papers in hand for custody. Lily hugged me goodbye, a crayon blue sky pressed into my palm. Tell Dr. Ben thank you for the dragons, she said, eyes brightening the dim room. I nodded, throat tight, watching her go. Small victory in a war of giants. Ben vanished into meetings, lawyers circling like vultures. I crashed alone that night, our bed vast and cold, replaying his note. Love, B. Was it lie or last gasp? The city hummed indifferent below, sirens a mocking lullaby. December crept in with a bitter wind off the East River, frosting the Brooklyn Bridge in ice that matched the chill between us. Ben moved to a hotel, temporary, he called it, but the word echoed hollow. Work became my exile. Endless shifts, charting escapes from the ache. Mount Sinai buzzed with fallout. Ellis strutted like he'd won, the board patting his back while quietly auditing files. The stepfather's trial loomed, Ben's leaks forcing it into daylight, Charges stuck. No payoffs this time. Lily thrived in Jersey. Weekly updates from her aunt. First snowman, nightmares fading. Small mercies, but they didn't fill the void. I threw myself into research, co-authoring a paper on vanishing twin anomalies in trauma cases. Lily's story anonymized. A beacon for future docs. Ben's name topped the byline. He'd insisted, even from his self-imposed purgatory. "We're a team," his email read, terse and unsigned. I stared at it for hours, cursor blinking like a heartbeat monitor flatlining. The climax, our climax, unfolded on Christmas Eve, hospital halls decked in tinsel that mocked the season's cheer. Paige dragged me to the ER. Jane Doe overdose but the face. Ben's mother, Rosa, frail from chemo, wrists scored red. He'd hidden it, the cancer's return, her spiral into pills. Family emergency, he'd muttered weeks back. Vanishing acts explained in a rush of guilt. She stabilized in ICU, tubes snaking like accusations. Ben arrived disheveled, eyes bloodshot, collapsing into a chair. "James," he rasped, voice wrecked. I couldn't. I knelt, no gloves now, just hands on his knees. "Why didn't you say?" The dam broke then, words tumbling. The pressure of the case, Ellis's threats laced with digs at his lifestyle. The ex's calls not closure but concern for Rosa. And the leak? Not betrayal but desperation, tipping his reporter friend to expose Ellis's corruption. Saving the trial without dragging us under official radar. "You shut me out," I said, voice cracking. "Like I'm the distraction, not the partner." He cupped my face, thumbs rough against stubble. "I was scared. Of losing you to this mess. Of being the broken kid who ruins everything good." Bronx tough, but vulnerable here. Tears carving tracks down his cheeks. I saw it all. The foster scars, the love he wielded like armor, fearing it'd shatter. The chapel called us back. That same stained glass sanctuary now soft in holiday glow. We sat shoulder to shoulder, silence heavy as fresh snow. "Remember our first Christmas?" I started, voice tentative. "That tree from the bodega lot. Lights tangled, paella burned again." He chuckled, wet and real. "You swore you'd never eat rice again." Laughter bridged the gap, tentative then true. His head dropping to my shoulder, my arm circling him. "I forgive you," I whispered, the words a release. "But no more solos. We're in this, the ugly, the broken parts." He lifted his head, eyes searching mine. "And if it's too much? If I am?" I kissed him then, slow and sure, tasting salt and second chances. "Then we fix it. Together. Like always." Rosa pulled through, detox in a quiet facility upstate, Ben's doing, with my consult on her chart. Ellis? The leaks boomeranged. An internal probe uncovered his golf course bribes, forcing retirement amid whispers of lawsuits. The hospital healed, slower, with a new ethics chief who nodded at our rainbow pins without flinching. Lily sent photos. Her in a blue parka, building forts with her aunt, a new brother in tow. "Monsters gone," the note read. "Skies clear. Spring thawed us too." Ben and I renewed vows, not legal, just us. On the Brooklyn stoop, cherry blossoms dusting the steps. Rings from a pawn shop, vows handwritten. To fight fair, love fierce, choose each other in the storms. Work steadied. My paper published in Anijam, citations rolling in. Ben took lead on a PEDS advocacy program. Lily's case its cornerstone. Training for spotting hidden traumas. No child left shadowed. America, for all its fractures, bent toward light sometimes. We marched in pride that June, hands linked under rainbows, the city roaring approval. Not perfect. Whispers lingered. Cases still broke hearts. But humanistic in the grind. Ordinary men loving through extraordinary pain, emerging scarred but whole. Years on, Lily, 17 now, valedictorian bound, visits with college apps, her laugh filling our home. "You two saved me," she says, hugging tight. "We didn't, not alone." It was her resilience, the system's reluctant grace, our stubborn love pushing the tide. In the end, the shocking discovery wasn't the twins' ghost in her womb, but the truth in our own. Love endures betrayal not by erasing it, but by weaving it into something stronger. Ben and I, side by side in our graying years, know that now, Blue skies after the rain, always.